Good afternoon. Glad to see the speakers here. Let's give our audience a moment together, shall we?
Yeah, hi Marina.
Hi, Elena. How are you guys? How's your mood? Are you worried about this event?
Still alive. That's great. And going live.
I like that.
Yeah, a bit worried, but I think it's completely okay for everyone, even for experienced person.
Yeah, especially important point to mention, since we are going to be discussing problem solving and the use of soft skills, kind of the approach we want to propose our audience today. Maxime, how about you?
Which approach do you mean? to be polite, to ask,
stay positive.
to stay positive, to ask some questions, maybe, and to be involved in our discussion, because I hope it's going to be really important and interesting for everybody. At least for me, it's going to be that.
That's
and
nice
I hope
to
the
hear.
weather in each of the location are quite well, as in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's actually start with our event. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Marina Halinska. I have years of experience in quality assurance, and I drive pro-quality community that has prepared this event for you today. I will be hosting today's panel discussion. We have created the event for you as an opportunity to constructively bring up some popular pain points in project communications, and we will try to show that problem-solving mindset will help you approach most of difficult situations you face, not only in work, in fact, with resolve and professionalism, and get away from the state of being overwhelmed by the situation. Today, we will start by getting to know our speakers a bit. Then we will discuss some general advice about conflict resolution and behavior in difficult situations. And of course, the core of our discussion would be discussing and brainstorming conflict cases. We already have one question submitted to us by an audience, and we will try to answer it today. We have also prepared popular, interesting cases to discuss, and we would be grateful for every participant that would be asking questions. We will try to answer them as well. And hopefully we will then have time to answer some more questions. That's our plan for today. Let's start by introducing our speaker, Maxime. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello there. So my name is Maxime. I'm a software testing engineer for the last 3 years. But one thing I would like to share with you, which is even more interesting, what I used to be a doctor, a psychiatrist, for more than 7 years before I joined the IT sphere, and I had such a huge of experience solving different, sometimes weird, sometimes not so situations between my patients and myself, or patients and their relatives. So I hope my expertise will be really helpful in today's discussion.
That sounds very exciting. Can't wait. Alena?
Yeah, hi everyone, once again. So my name is Alena, and I'm software testing team leader in EPAM. And basically, I do not have such experience as Maxim has, but I hope that my experience working with people will be useful here. So I'm glad to hear your advices as well, my colleagues. So yeah, let's see. Thanks.
Thank you, Alona. And Maria.
Hi all, my name is Maria. I'm a lead test automation engineer in JS. I have 9 years of experience. I'm also interviewer and assessment expert, and I hope my experience in, for example, interview and assessment can help you and can help you solve some difficult situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I like how diverse our backgrounds are, and I'm sure we will be able to bring cases into perspectives. Right now, I would like to ask participants to comment something. And for example, you could comment your proficiency in soft skills as you estimate it right now, rated from 1, where you don't have experience in difficult situations by yourself, to 5, you have successfully resolved several complex situations and come to a helpful solution. Let's see how many experienced participants are we having in the audience. And just to warm up, I have put one of my favorite funny quotes that I use when I'm scared to approach bringing up some difficult topic. I try to remind myself that they are probably afraid of you as much as you are afraid of them. And that helps put things into perspective and remember that we are all humans and we all do our best.
Yeah, so let's go back to the previous thing about proficiency. So if we need to rate ourselves, that's really hard to do. But I would like to think that I can say that I'm about 4. But again, it depends a lot on different things. So life can still bring you some situation for which you may be not prepared. So although I have some complex situation with which I had a chance to work with, but still I think that I'm more about 4 than 5. Yeah, and still something to learn.
Thank you for this comment, Alona. I think it would help to stay realistic in this question. Okay, let's now share some universal advice, because the best difficult situation or conflict is the one you were able to identify before it has become a problem, actually. What we can propose to you. We may advise you to establish clear communication channels that might be as simple as proposing a weekly retrospective to your team if you don't have one yet. Then, for example, if retrospectives don't work on your project, you should try to think of proposing a safer channel for constructive feedback. Maybe people are shy and scared to voice their opinions. Maybe they have reasons for that, maybe they don't. But we can propose them a chance to submit points to retrospective anonymously. For example, there are such boards. And on the more difficult and advanced advice we can offer, we can say that encouraging collaborative problem solving is a very good way. If you can think up of an activity you can do with your colleagues, maybe you can initiate a meeting to discuss some problem. But from my point of view, I would do my best to come to such a gathering prepared to propose some solution. For example, I would like to propose our audience to think of other advice we didn't mention and write it in the comments. Maybe that could help other viewers. And of course, our speakers. Do you have something to add?
Well, maybe just a general advice to stay yourself, to be yourself, but also think about your opponents because they are also people with their own experience, mood, characters, and establishing really good interpersonal connection. That's our goal, and probably we will give some more not so universal advices during this session later.
That's very interesting. You brought up establishing interpersonal connections at first. I really like that because when you have built trust with your colleagues first, then you are confident that you can discuss some complex situation in your project with them and it won't be taken personally. I like that advice a lot.
And again, probably, Marine, just to summarize that a lot of things depends on situation. That's why here we just try to list the most universal advice. But again, we will dig deeper into that during discussion of use cases. Probably it will be like more deep, more interesting for our audience because that's something we're here for. Yeah.
Definitely. We will discuss some examples and brainstorm real cases. And our main goal would be not to offer you a solution to every possible problem, but to represent with what approach and what mindset could you approach your problems. Maybe that's a better way of viewing a problem. Okay, before we move on to discussing our cases and questions, I'd like to propose audience to ask and propose their cases in the chat, in the comments, or simply use that QR code to go to the community page of our event and submit questions there. We will try to answer them. Also, very interesting part. Let's see and discuss some assumptions people may have regarding the topic of conflict resolution and problem solving. We have a couple of examples here. For example, soft skills are less important than technical skills in the testing field. Who's ready to tackle that?
So probably I can start here. So you know that right now we have a lot of AI tools and we can improve ourselves in technical skills as well with the help of these tools. But I'm pretty sure that they won't help you to improve your soft skills. That's why soft skills right now, I should say, is really important because that's something you need to learn, you need to practice, probably not to learn, but to practice. Because for me, soft skills is not something that is like innate, but for sure you can have some skills in that initially, but you need to learn, you need to look at your colleagues, for example, understand what's going on. You can be to become more prepared to different situation. That's why for now soft skills becomes even I shouldn't say more important than technical skills, but at least at the same level. That's really something important, and I'm pretty sure my colleagues will agree with me.
Yes, I can support Alona that soft skills is really important in testing and general any ITs because so everyone everywhere we're human. Soft skills is important because we are human, and of course it's important in terms of your career development and improve your even technical skills. You need soft skills. So it's definitely false.
As Maria said, working in the IT sphere, you should communicate with, you have to communicate with other people. And even if you are not in a client-facing role or a managerial position, you need to be able to get along with coworkers, managers, vendors, other people in your team, and interact with them at work.
Great points, guys. How about we merge two remaining points because they are kind of similar? What is the role of emotional intelligence in soft skills? And is communication only about speaking well?
May I
So
pick up the question? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alona.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You're so polite. Um, Let me pick up the question about communication skills and if they are only about speaking or not. Because, I'm prepared and I have a list of different soft skills and I would like to mention them to let our audience um, some understanding what soft skills are. And well, uh, soft skills are personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively with themselves and the others. Um, these skills can include social graces, communication abilities, language skills, personal habits, cognitive or emotional empathy. Time management also really important, teamwork and leadership traits. Also, they include adaptability, um, the possibility or willingness to compromise, um, to solve the problems, conflict resolution, and negotiation skills. So there are a lot of different soft skills, not only about speaking well. That's why all of us really need to develop them.
Very academic approach, a very interesting point.
Okay.
But let me continue. So just a quick point. So here we are to discuss use cases, and basically, from my experience, I should say that I've been working with some people for years, and I've seen how they grow. So basically, some of them they started from shy junior specialists, and they became real leaders of the team, and that's great. So that's something that people work on, and they got really great results if they work on their soft skills, not only technical skills.
And speaking about the question about if soft skills can be learned or they're innate, as the other skills, of course, they can be learned. And you should, you should divide different different definitions as knowledge, skills, automatic actions, and abilities. Because sometimes people cannot clearly divide them, and that's why it may cause some misunderstanding. So knowledge is it's just some information, just a piece of information stored in your memory. Skills, it what you can do with this information, the basis of on that knowledge. Automatic actions is something what you can do without any intention. For example, if you're able to speak, to walk, to breathe, and abilities might be physical or mental. Just the same for the ability, the ability of your body or your brain for walking, for speaking, for thinking. Um, and speaking about the skills, of course, you can learn them and work on them. But without any practice, you will not be able to um, do that. And only in the process of repeated execution of the acquired knowledge in practice, what the skill is formed. That's making the bridge between some piece of the information and the physical representation of it, the so-called skill. That's why it is really important. I I just repeating myself, but I would like to to make you understand what you should practice. and the practice is the key to success. And I really like this statement, actually.
I agree with it. In fact, practice makes perfect. If you faced the situation, you would be less reluctant to face it again. That's very easy logic, and it works. Anything to add, guys? Okay, moving on then to our first case. You have reported major bugs yesterday. Today, end of day, there will be code freeze. However, developers, as per their established habit, wait for the midday daily to pick up bugs. You're worried that the team won't provide fixes in time. What are you to do? Anybody willing to take on?
I maybe can start. I think it's case about responsibilities in the team, and it's always well, we need to understand our responsibility and responsibility of each member in the team to understand, like, who is responsible for planning, for managing tasks, managing bugs, and others. But as a tester engineer, I definitely will bring up this point, for example, in the chat or some other meetings. And like, guys, I have concerns that we need to fix these bugs. And I think, yeah, definitely need to bring up your concerns. But if you have in the team manager, project manager, so they will define should we fix it before release or not.
I totally agree with this dividing of the responsibilities, but would like to add what our main responsibility is to provide our customers the product with the best quality. That's why, speaking about myself, for example, if I faced such situation, I would do anything I could to pop it up, maybe to ping somebody, not to wait to the stand up to raise this question with the whole team. That's why it is really needed to have this connection with other developers, and probably to write them directly, for example, and just to stay active.
Just probably one addition from my side, quick one. So about the prevention of such situation. If you see that this happens from time to time, and even if you like report these issues, try to find people who can help to resolve them, and there's still nothing, you need to talk about that, for example, during some retro meeting. So if you work on a project with agile methodology, it's definitely something what can be discussed, and it's like a good practice to do that, and probably in future you will keep track on that, and that won't appear again. Yeah.
And you're not afraid to raise these questions on the retro, because sometimes we really do not want to blame on somebody, but it is really important to provide the best quality, and it will help in your team communication in the future.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that happens quite often, especially when someone just joined the team. He or she, they see that the issue happens, but they still keep silence because they're afraid of sharing their opinion. But you should not be afraid of sharing your opinion. And it's not about blaming someone, it's about talking about the issue which needs to be resolved. So, yeah. Probably we can go to the next question.
Yes, indeed. Okay. You have noticed that a developer and business analyst constantly provide you with incomplete information, causing delays in your testing. How do you communicate with them about the issue without offending them?
Yeah, I believe it's like a pain of many testers. As we mentioned previously, of course, don't hesitate to raise this question because it's directly affect your work, your performance, and performance of your team overall. So, of course, don't blame anyone. I think the best place to raise this question is retro meeting. And of course, you shouldn't blame a person. You should try to find solution to improve process on your team. So, of course, very important is the form. So don't say, "Oh my God, this developer, he's so bad. His stories are completely plain without any description." No, say it's like I think it's important to have a description, acceptance criteria in each story to improve our quality. So testing will. I will spend less time for testing and anything. Yeah, and that's maybe my point of view, and I did it actually in my experience, not like few times, and it's just like a question of improving processes in the team.
In what I also have had such situation on my project, um, and speaking and trying to describe the best approach, how to write stories, for example, never helped. That's why me and my colleague, also tester, started to shoot at the BA with thousands of minor questions in every single point. And after a couple of sprints, they just realized what it is the easiest way to give us what we wanted and not to answer all of the questions for the whole day.
Perfect strategy. Just be as professional as you can. In most cases, it helps. Totally agree. Case resolved. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Third case. A project manager is pushing the team for an unrealistic deadline. How should a test engineer communicate their concerns? And I would add, to whom?
Probably let me start answering that. So here for me, we have not all information required to answer correctly. So we need to answer at first to understand, is this systematic action? Does it happen often? Or is it an exception? So who is aware of that? So is it only like the corner case when project manager just comes and say, "Hey guys, we are really need to do that ASAP"? So again, and what are the options here? So if you're testing engineer on the project, for sure you can inform your test lead if he or she is not informed yet, but I'm pretty sure that should. And then basically we can think about different options. So it's not like mandatory to do something, especially if it requires some additional time beyond your working hours. So that's why for sure it should be raised, it should be discussed in the team, and should be find some options. If that's something that's really, really important and should be done ASAP, then probably test lead will find some additional solutions. For example, we can try to find additional resources to finish this task in time, or we may ask people to work overtime, but in that case we need to provide something for that, so probably some additional day off. yeah, in any case, the first point is to raise these concerns and discuss the options. Again, if you are junior specialist, you can discuss with your test lead. If you're a test lead, again, you can discuss with the project manager as well, with delivery manager, so, and the team in general. Yeah, so in any case, that shouldn't happen a lot. If it happens quite often, then should be like additional discussion as well to prevent such issues, because that's impossible to work under this pressure. So the people become burnout, and that's not good. So yeah.
That's a very great perspective, Alena. But what if I'm a junior engineer and I'm scared to raise the topic on retrospective? No one ever raises such questions. And I'm not really sure if a project manager or a team lead would listen to me. Maybe that's quite a directive person. What should such a junior tester do?
That's basically the first point which was mentioned in the beginning. So you shouldn't be afraid. You should try. Even okay, that's okay to be afraid. So we all sometimes afraid of doing something, but you should understand that if you will keep silence, you will suffer forever. So you will get these issues each time, and you need to talk. So, for example, if it's retro, when you can discuss that, generally you do some written points, and every and all team members discuss that. So that's why it's not like you just point a finger to someone. It's just the discussion of the situation, which basically bothers you and basically bothers all the team members, but probably they keep silence. Someone needs to start. And uh, in any case, when we're talking about different conflict situation, we need to remember the main rule for working with conflict situation. You talk about the facts. You do not talk about personalities. That's something that Maria already mentioned, and Maxime. So right here, we do not need to blame someone for doing something wrong. We need to find the way out from the situation, which is incorrect. And yeah, basically at first you need to raise the point. And yeah, even if you're afraid, uh, we need to find a way to do that. Otherwise, it will never be solved.
And also, if you're afraid to raise some point on the time of the retrospective, you can ask to open the board for retrospective from the beginning of the sprint, and sometimes it can be really helpful. And you can write your points there, and it will be not so scary because nobody will with you at this time, and you will have some time to be prepared to the time of the retrospective starts. And also you can go to your test lead or some other more experienced colleagues and just to ask them, is it okay? Is it normal? I'm worried a bit. What should I do? Um, and they provide you some maybe some helpful advices, or even they could raise this topic on the retrospective. And just to mention, what you was the first person who just started this conversation.
Okay, thank you for great summaries, guys. Do we want to discuss it further or we resolved the case? Moving on. Okay. Case 4. 10 minutes before the end of the day, project manager rushes in and gives you a task that needs to be completed immediately. These tasks will interrupt your current priority tasks and will probably mean you have to stay late. How do you handle this situation? I think we might have covered that in one of the previous cases, right, guys? But we
Partially.
can
Only partially, I should
partially.
say.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring other perspective on similar problem. Ariana, can you start?
Yeah, I was just thinking that probably this should not happen if the project works with agile. The reason is that basically all the scope, it's like predefined, so it's confirmed with the team basically, and all team members, they commit to do that. And if something really important happens, then again we can return back to the previous situation and think about what should we do in this case. Is it like the common situation, or it's just like one time issue where it's really needed? And for sure, if you do not have time to do that, if you understand that you cannot commit on that, so you need to say that. And there is test lead on the project, and if you are not the test lead, and you can ask him about that as well. So probably there will be some suggestions, because like we live in a world where we can speak, and that's great. So at least we can discuss if something really not okay, and probably you will agree to perform this task if it's really something needed. But again, you have the options. So it's not like if you say no, that means that that's the end of the world. So that's discussable. Yeah.
I can imagine what for some of the newcomers or the junior specialists, it might be really scary to say no or to raise their concerns and speak out loud. So your advice might be really helpful to go to their test lead and to discuss that, not just to say the project manager, no, I won't do this, but go first to the test lead and to discuss.
Yeah, by saying no, I just describe the situation that you may still have concerns and may say no in general. So, but for sure, it's again depends on your soft skills. So you can say that in different words. It's not just say no. So you can describe why you cannot do that right now, and basically find the solution. But yeah, I agree. In general, yeah, that's the good point about this lead.
Okay. I propose to move on to our fifth case. You have recently received constructive criticism on your performance from the supervisor. It was unexpected and you're feeling a bit demotivated. How do you handle criticism positively? Maybe Maria can start.
Yes. I don't know. First of all, I would like to say that, of course, it's not like you will not be happy when you receive some criticism. It's completely okay. And maybe you need to take a time and to think about it, to calm down, right? Because, of course, you will feel some, I don't know, maybe some negative emotion, or you will be angry or think it's not fair. Just try to take time, calm down, and then like read again or think again about these words. And if you don't understand something, it's okay to ask additional questions to your supervisor. And also, it's completely okay to ask some advice. So, what should I do to improve, for example, my skills? What do you recommend to do? Yeah, maybe you have some, I don't know, materials. And yeah, of course, every feedback is your chance to improve your skills, and it's good to receive feedback. Try to find points to improve, and to create some plan, and yeah, and follow your plan.
Yeah, commit to it. Do you guys have something to add? Maria has made a beautiful summary, but maybe you have your own as well.
Yeah, probably one note. So for me here, I would like to know whether this person understands that something went wrong or not before. Because if it's the first time when you hear that something is wrong, but you think that you are awesome, so that can be a bit different situation. But if you know that there was some issues, but for sure you need to work on them, and right now you see you hear this feedback, so probably it will be easier to understand that and to work on that. But if it's the first time, it can be probably really demotivated for this person, but you need to calm down to understand what's going on. Yeah, and try to understand why it happened. So, and yeah, try to be the hero in this situation, try to understand what's bad and to become more to become stronger after this feedback, to improve something. So that's something for growing. Yeah, as Maria mentioned that. Yeah, that's true. Agree totally.
Thank you for the summary, Aliana. I'd like to remind you that we are always welcome to see you on our future events and invite you to watch our previous events as well by joining Pro-Quality community here. And finally, it's time for Q&A, where we have some very interesting questions. And first question that was submitted to us actually overlaps a little with what we have already brought up. I will read it out. Hello, what are your advices for junior QA regarding soft skills? What are the best techniques to communicate with senior colleagues and developers? Thanks in advance. Okay, if I may address this question. This question assumes that person is not feeling confident in communicating with senior colleagues. In such a case, I would propose to shift your perspective on a difficult communication, or simply approach it as a puzzle you have to solve. And don't forget that other person also has their own puzzles to solve. When you try to communicate something difficult, try to come prepared and think of one or two solutions to the problem in advance. That way, you will be confident, you will have things to say, and it will be a very professional approach, which is always respected by colleagues. Do you guys agree?
Yes, I agree, and I just would like to mention that senior colleagues, developers are still humans, and they're still your colleagues. You don't need, I don't know, some
Yes.
specific techniques to communicate. So just general advice is be polite, friendly, respectful, like for every
Yes.
person, I believe. Yeah, it's no something special, and I think in our industry we have some culture, right, where everyone can ask, can communicate with everyone. It's just a common culture. So yeah, just don't be afraid to ask to communicate.
You will not be afraid of something if you will get familiar with that, or if you will get to know each other better. And in my IT experience, I also faced pretty the same situation after switching from working on government to the IT sphere. It was a bit challenging for me to communicate with other guys from my team because I uh, just didn't know how to do it, how to act appropriately in the IT sphere. And my first resource manager gave me a really great advice, which helped me to join each of the team meetings a couple of minutes before it starts, and to try to start some small talks, or not to start but to join, to already raise small talks, and not just to join in the meaning of the meeting starts, but a little bit before, to have some time to get to know each other better at this time.
I really like that point. On our project, we have a tradition to discuss weather, local weather for every team member, and that takes up several minutes of each daily, but it raises so many fun discussions and so often, and it's our beloved tradition now, and we wait for it eagerly. As weird as it sounds.
And not
Yeah.
afraid to speak about weather. It's sometimes it can be, you may think it's a bit silliness to speak about weather. Oh, not really a serious thing, not a really serious topic to be discussed. But anyway, it will improve your weather in a team. That's why you should discuss the weather outside.
True. Okay, next question from Nareen. Uh, Nareen would like to ask about communication improvement steps. How challengeable could be coming back to the office life from the remote working style? Is somebody ready to address that?
Probably
May
I can.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Please, Alona, please. I have an answer on each of
One
your
once.
questions.
Okay, so probably
Okay, I don't know.
let me. Uh, okay, I think that it will be challengeable in any case because you like working from home, so you get familiar with that. You are not you have some kind of freedom there, so you can like it's easier for you to work in this condition when you get familiar with that. But when you're back to office, it may be really challengeable. And probably I was just thinking that it's a good idea if you have a chance to participate in different like even language courses. So in this way, you can communicate with people and you can become more familiar with what's going on, how to talk, how to start small talks. So it can be useful. So yeah, probably, especially if you're afraid of talking, afraid of asking questions. So that's the good point. At least from my experience, I think that participating in such type of courses, they really provide you ability to start talking, to ask questions, and that's really great. So probably you just need to start some practice before going to office. Yeah. And sorry, colleagues, for interrupting you.
Yeah, I
That's
think
okay.
yeah, it can be challenging because in office you see person face to face. You can't turn off your camera, right? You cannot be muted, and you see like reaction of person. For example, sometimes person can say everything is okay, but everything is okay, and you understand nothing is okay. So yeah, it can be difficult, and maybe you will be even more afraid to ask, for example, senior staff, right? Because you have to do it face to face. But on the other hand, I like in office, when we work in office, you learn faster because you just can see how your senior colleagues communicate, uh, try to solve the task, try to solve some situation, and you just can see and learn. And I think it's good for junior specialists. Maybe be in the office and just be a near mentor, right? It's also you learn more like faster.
I agree,
So it's a
Masha.
good
I have
point.
recently, yeah, I have recently met with a couple of my colleagues from testing industry. Um, and even though it was informal meeting, I got so inspired by them. We have talked about work, of course, and I feel much more confident in approaching some of my own situations with new inspiration from them. Okay, now I remember Maxim also has
Yeah.
Um,
I remember the quote from the beginning of our presentation about they are afraid of you nonetheless when you are. And that's why if you come to the office and see a lot of people there, it means what they chosen this option to go to the office and be there, not to stay at home. That's why it means they are willing to communicate with somebody, because we are all want to connect with other people. We cannot live alone in our small cells, and that's why just to be the first to start the conversation. Also, maybe you do not know, but in your allocation you have some maybe informal events which may help you to communicate with somebody, to know each other well. For example, in my location we have really just actually a couple of different events, and one of them is really great. We have each Wednesday like a tradition to uh, um, get together on the kitchen at the beginning of the day, and to drink some coffee or tea there, and to discuss some news or some interesting funny things there just before our work starts. And from the very beginning there will be maybe a couple of people on these meetings, but right now sometimes it might be even 20 or more people there, because everybody want to get some new friends, you know. That's why I'm not afraid to go to the office and to interact.
that is true. I attend those Wednesdays and they are the best. They are the highlight of the week. And even they are very shy introverts that used to attend uh, this event just once, uh, in a year have come back and now they come regularly. Can you imagine the transformation that event had on an introvert person? It took time, but still it helped the person get an opportunity to chat and get to know someone. I think it's very beautiful. Next question, please. Okay. Does conflict happen from time to time in testing teams? Or are members so compatible with one another that there is no conflict at all? I don't know how to approach that. I think conflicts are a natural part of interaction of people in any case, because you have different personalities, of course, but you have also different professional backgrounds that influence your decisions. I'd like my colleagues, speakers, to address this question.
Yes, of course, conflict happens in every team, I believe. If you have a team of humans, of course, your conflict will happen, and it's completely okay. So don't afraid conflict. Sometimes, if it help you to improve processes, improve communication, improve atmosphere in a team. So conflict is actual nature part of, I believe, human communication. Just think about way to resolve this conflict.
Actually, I cannot agree with you that conflicts are pretty common situation in each of the team, because conflict for me is
Okay.
something um, well, in my team we do not have any conflicts, but we are all really improved in our communication skills. Maybe that's why. But even if somebody would like to, you know, to raise some conflict, uh, we have also another person or a couple of persons who may, how to say, make it not so sharp. Do you understand me? Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
mean.
Conflict, it's not about screaming, right?
Mhm.
It can be just different opinions. And if you are like professional, if you know how to resolve conflict, you just resolve it smoothly and
Yep.
in polite
Yeah.
way.
Thank you, Christoph, the person who has asked the question. And as you can see, conflicts can happen even in our case.
No.
We had
Yeah.
different perspectives, and that can be called a conflict from one perspective,
not
while in
conflict.
fact it
Come on.
was a difference of opinions, and they can coexist, and they can actually make each other more beautiful. Okay, we have time for one more question. I think 5 more minutes. Do you agree that we should try to not be wordy in communication with colleagues? For example, avoid the phrase, "Can I disturb you?" Should you start a dialogue with the phrase, "How are you? Thank you." Okay, what's the role of polite conversation starters, guys? What can you say about it?
I believe it can be depends on team, stage of build of existing team, and also some culture. Right, some culture, for example, if you work with I don't know, British people, they are usually like more polite, right? You need to be like use some difficult communication strategies, some difficult phrases, and if also like cycle of team just beginning, or you already worked, I don't know, 10 years together, of course, you already have some communication patterns.
For me personally, it depends because, again, as Maria mentioned, it depends a lot on situation. So, for example, if you are real friends with the people with whom you work, and basically it's not the first time you are talking, and you just need to clarify something, that's okay to say, "Hey, I've seen that, so could you help me?" Okay. But if that's like the first time conversation, you have never speak to this person, probably it's a good idea to start from some small talk and say, "Hey," probably not "Hey," but "Hello, my name is Donna, and could you please help me with this and that?" And also, as my colleagues already mentioned, during even daily stand-ups on the projects, people used to get some small talks to talk about weather, to talk about anything. But if that's the direct communication, again, it depends. So in some cases, that's okay. Do not try to be wordy and to keep straight to the topic, and that's totally fine. But in some cases, that can be different. Again, we call that emotional intelligence. Yeah. We need to know how to behave in different cases. So that's something we need to learn. And even if you think that you're quite you're like professional in this sphere, it's still something to learn. So yeah, sometimes I think I do it incorrectly, but again, it's still something we need to learn. Yeah, and depends on situation.
And if you doubt
Yes.
in choosing the appropriate way to how to start the communication, it's better and safer to start from such phrases. How are you? You are muted. I'm sorry, Marina.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maxim. That's a good point. I can only add that in case your communication on project is extremely formal, and you, for example, are not used to very dry communication that doesn't involve such phrases and small talk, you can actually be the one to propose that, for example, once a week or even bi-weekly, dedicate 10 minutes of the daily to discuss weather. For example, to discuss each other's weekend plans. That can be anything, any easy topic that would probably help you feel more confident to talk to each other. That's my advice. Okay, I think we have managed to cover what we have planned to cover, guys. Very good.
Sounds good.
Can we, yeah, bring up the presentation, please? Thank you. I'd like to remind our visitors to rate our event on We Are Community page. And if you want, you can say thank you to our speakers on the page. It would be very nice to hear some kind words and if our advice has helped you. Be sure to leave some feedback. We are open to it and we would be glad to hear. We would be very willing to hear what event would you like to see from us next in the future. So let your mind speak. And of course, thank you for attending. Thank you for your wonderful questions. I think we have enjoyed ourselves answering them. And don't forget that we are present not only on VIA community and YouTube, we also have a group in LinkedIn and a very interesting community in Telegram. We even post puzzles there that are quite fun, and we would be glad to see everyone here. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.